Next orator.
Mr. Speaker, sir, just to answer the previous member of the opposition that was speak earlier, I'm surprised the way he speaks, but anyway, it has to be, nowadays you have to get used to this kind of virulence, I suppose. Now we are told that the meteorological services was particularly unreliable. I would like to inform that member, number one, there is no meteorological service in the world that is 100% reliable. There is no, it may be just for him. And secondly, they failed to give proper warning. And I've explained what happened in March this year. I came, there was a PQ, and explained that twice in this house. But maybe he wasn't here, maybe he didn't understand what I was explaining. But I explained that with the climate change now, the risk of adverse weather condition is increasing. You are going to get severe hurricane, severe flash flood. And we have to live with it. And because of this change in weather, now the equipment that we have now, sometimes we can't afford to give the exact forecast if the change is coming too quickly. What I mean is that if you are going to get a change in the weather in about 15 minutes or 30 minutes, it's difficult to get a weather forecast at such a short notice. We don't have that equipment. That's why we are spending money. We're trying to improve the system. But to expect that we can do everything all the time, well, I'll leave it to him. Mr. Speaker, sir, the meteorological services, being an essential service provider, has a mandate to provide timely weather and climate services, as well as warning for hydrometeorological hazards for enhanced socioeconomic development of the Republic of Mauritius. In line with its strategic goal, the MMS is continuing to improve its observation. Yes, continue to improve its observation network. Regular data from automatic weather station, automatic rain gauge station, and lightning detectors are contributing toward better analysis in the provision of services to stakeholders. The MMS is further modernizing, is continue to modernize its service to the benefit of the citizens of the Republic of Mauritius. In line with the World Meteorological Organization strategy 2020 and 2023, the MMS aims to provide science-based climate information for decision-making in key sectors, notably water, agriculture, energy, health, and disaster risk reduction. The focus is to enhance the science for service value chain to ensure that scientific and technological advance improve the predictive, and I said, underline the word, to improve the predictive capabilities of the MMS. Mr. Speaker, sir, I've mentioned it, we can't give weather which is 100% accurate. It does not exist anywhere in the world nowadays, so far. Mr. Speaker, sir, with respect to the supplementary fund being required by the MMS, they are made for the following item. And item 21110.004 allowance, an additional provision of 783,000 is required for the payment of allowance, equivalent to 3 increments to the meteorological telecommunication technician posted at Troserve, Doppler weather radar station, and also for refund and public holidays and night allowance. 10 officers working on shift at Troserve were paid allowance for the period January 2020 to May 2021. Under item 21111.001 overtime, an additional provision of 478,000 rupees is required for the payment of overtime to officers of the Meteorological Telecommunication Technician, qu'a, who have been called upon to work on weekends and public holidays due to shortage of staff. 7 officers were paid overtime for period of March 2020 to January 2021. Under the item 22010, cost of utilities, an additional provision of 113,000 rupees is required for settlement of claim, firstly, as a result of increase in the consumption of electricity, following acquisition of 2 new air conditioners at the MMS headquarters in Vakwa, and for telephone charges for period February to March 2020, that is in the financial year 2019 to 2020. were received in April 2021. That is in the financial year 2020-2021 due to COVID-19 lockdown in the year 2021. Under the item 22020, fuel and oil, an additional provision of 241,000 rupees is required to meet increase in the consumption of fuel and oil used for day-to-day running of vehicle of the MMS and generators at Agaliga and Samodo Island, as well as Rousseff Doppler radar. During the COVID-19 lockdown period from March to May 2020 and from February to March 2021, the use of fuel for the MMS vehicle had almost tripled due to the transportation of staff from and to their places of residence. Under item 22120, fees, an additional provision of 14,207,000 is required for the payment of fees to consultant in respect to project on enhancing meteorological observation, weather forecasting and warning capabilities. A grant of 260 million Japanese yen, amounting to 81 million Mauritian rupees, was obtained from the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, for the previously mentioned project for the period of 2019 to 2020, 2019-2020 to 21-22. Due to travel restriction associated with COVID-19 pandemic, JICA had conveyed the training online in order to continue with the implementation of the project. During the financial year 2021, a book adjustment of 26,944,000 was made. Under the item 26210.23, contribution to World Meteorological Organization, an additional provision of 59,000 rupees is required due to fluctuation in exchange rates. Under the item 26210.025, contribution to World Meteorological Organization Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, an additional provision of 7,000 rupees is required due to fluctuation in exchange rates. Under item 26210.026, contribution to African Center of Meteorological Application for Development, an additional provision of 15,000 rupees is required due to the fluctuation in exchange rates. And Mr. Speaker says, the previous speaker earlier said that it's better to listen to the amateur Mr. Goudard for his output. I think he's welcome to it. He can keep on listening to him. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.